Hello everyone, I'm Elliot. What you're about to see came from our stream tonight. I'm just doing this right afterwards. I just untied my hair. It's all over the place. Where we were just discussing a particular K-pop company led by a particular man named Lee Soo-man that took hair and blood samples from their idols. It's a whole thing, and it's a nuanced conversation, and I kind of get into a bit of a rant. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm targeting anybody, and I certainly don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to put down K-pop fans or K-pop in general. But it is something that needs to be talked about, and I'm glad that a lot of K-pop fans are discussing this on Twitter and otherwise, and lashing out in a way. Of course, I don't condone any harassment. I don't condone any vigor, but I do hope that people kind of start to take note of certain patterns that evolved from the 90s and onwards that involve some of these things. Now, if you're interested in watching some of our live streams where we'll be discussing pop culture, we'll be discussing K-pop, anime, music, hip-hop, all these different types of things, you can check out youtube.com/bbYgang as well as twitch.tv/bbYgang live for more content featuring me. I hope you're all having a great day. Please take a deep breath, release, drink some water, and take care of yourselves. Enjoy! I'm on Twitter. I see a bunch of people talking about this. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm not really sure how to prepare you for it, but if you know anything about SM Entertainment, there you go. So here we go, guys. Thank you to Kang.
좋으시다 보니까 가장 파격적이었던 건 사실 DNA 목걸이였어요. 저희는 그 당시 DNA가 뭔지도 모르는 상황이었는데 DNA 목걸이를 만든다고 하는데
Yeah, so that's a member of, I believe, h.o.t saying that they needed Isuman. Anyway.
저희 피가 필요하다고 해서 그때 피랑 머리카락, 또 그냥 머리카락도 있고 뭐 몸에 있는 그런 털까지 막 엄청 뽑아가지고 그런 것까지 판매가 될 거라고는 생각을 못했는데.
Right, so I don't know how, how like we look back on like David Dobrik and the Vlog Squad and Shane Dawson, and we look at all these videos that they posted on YouTube, right? And all these different moments that were so heavily problematic. And we say to ourselves, damn, how did we let these gentlemen get away with these things? Right? Right. I feel as though Isuman is the David Dobrik of K-pop. Perhaps even the Shane Dawson. Maybe that's YG. How the hell did David Dobrik get away? Well, yes, but how the hell did Isuman get away with doing this? And how is this a real story? I've heard this being rumored like a lot. And, everybody who's a K-pop fan nowadays internationally mostly has negative opinions about Lee Soo-man and his management of artists on SM. And we know that there's been a lot of disagreements, a lot of falling outs on that label. Look up TVXQ, look up EXO, look up, FX. There's just been a lot of disagreements about management. There's a lot of lawsuits, a lot of legal troubles, okay? There's been some recent legal troubles with that label as well. Not paying taxes. Again. In fact, Lee Soo-man was actually wanted by Interpol at one point. Kind of weird. But he's still here, rocking, doing his thing. I don't think he's the CEO of SM Entertainment anymore, but he's around. And he's the founder and former CEO of SM Entertainment. It's kind of crazy. Not Satan, take him back. So this is a clip of a dude from h.o.t. I don't remember the person's name. I don't think it's Kangta. It might be Kangta. But he's saying that the members of the group gave their blood. I mean, you hear about people giving their blood, sweat, and tears, guys. But I mean, gave people have to label their blood and hair from all over their body for fan items. First of all, don't do that. Don't ever give people your blood or hair if they're not a medical professional, right? There's so many privacy violations there. There's so much wrong with it. There's so much wrong with it. It's hard to say where to begin. But what I'll say is there's a culture among us fans and consumers of K-pop where we just really don't have any other choice other than to just kind of say yes to stuff. And this is from way before our time, of course, right? Nobody was here who was nobody's here who was present during that time. Nobody here was present during that time when h.o.t was very popular in the 90s. But it's like, bro, like there's still stuff going on with SM Entertainment where it's shady. Just last year, they tried to get away with selling like regulation masks like a month or two after the pandemic was like internationally a problem in terms of COVID-19 spreading and stuff like that. And they do stuff like this all the time, and they're always using creepy terminology and ideas for their stuff. And I'll say it because everybody's been saying it lately on Twitter and on here and stuff, but I just personally feel like a lot of what Isuman has been doing over the course of his career, I can't doubt that he's a very creative and entrepreneurial person whose contributions to K-pop has helped make it what it is, which is an international powerhouse kind of right now. But it's also a lot of the things that he's done that has led to K-pop having such a tarnished reputation among people who don't really know a lot about it. I mean, you see constant videos still about, oh my god, the dark side of K-pop, and look at what's actually going on in the K-pop industry with the manufacture, and everything's fake, and these idols have no soul because it's been taken from them by the evil, greedy executives, and that's why you shouldn't listen. That whole genre of video on YouTube basically starts with some of the actions from Lee Soo-man, and I'm not really sure how do we hold them accountable at this point. I'm not sure how we do anything at this point in terms of holding celebrities and artists accountable for doing things that are not good. One would think you have to give them less money, like not give them money, but they're still going to make money because there's still going to be tons of people who are going to spend money on SM properties, and I can't really say that I blame them for it, because if you really love an artist, they make great music, like, what are you gonna do? But it just sucks that there seems to be nothing that we can do about it. And one of the biggest problems with coverage of K-pop is that when we talk about these things, it's important. It's important to talk about these abuses and these problems in the K-pop industry. But we should be clear about who does what and not use it as a brush to paint over every single thing that happens in the Korean music industry, because it affects artists like Epic High, who I've been covering, and even other idol artists. Artists like BTS have been struggling with these preconceptions of K-pop and these stigmatizations of K-pop and Korean artists for years. You know, you had the whole Hollywood Reporter article that came out like a year ago. That was a complete disaster fest that decided to bring in some names of some people and some incidents that had nothing to do with BTS, and just triggered people. Like, that was it. Like, there's just a lot of people, I get that they like to trigger people and stuff, but it's not cool in my opinion. It's just, there's nothing gained from it. There's nothing gained from being outrageous about dark things that happen in the world and in K-pop. And especially when we're not being clear about who's doing what and how we can get better from it, it's just quite frustrating. So to me, when we see things like this, you know, a lot of things on Stan Twitter I just can't deal with anymore, to the point where I, deactivated on Twitter for a while, and I don't plan on being very active from now on. But there's also a lot on Stan Twitter that's interesting and good, including that people are willing to call out these people at a large scale. But the rest of the world seems quite hesitant. It seems as if nobody's really rushing to take Lee Soo-man to trial or to task for anything. And I'm not saying that the man should be arrested and thrown into jail. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat have, but it's just a lack of it's like a lack of accountability on a lot of these cases. Like, how do you get away with that? That's not cool. And there's just like a lot of consumers of K-pop that kind of look past all these things and buy into this culture of access, which has been seen as the one thing that K-pop is really about. Oh, people want access to their stars, and the companies are more than willing to give it to them. They manufacture these perfect stars, and then they let you take pictures and then do the thingy and the fan fiction and the blah blah blah. And it's like, no, most people who love K-pop just like the music a lot. Most people are casual about it. The people who are passionate about it, a lot of times, maybe they might do some wild shit, but they're not people who are trying to stalk celebrities. But there's still a lot of people who do. And K-pop does allow, in certain cases, for this thing to be very accessible to them. Whether it's close proximity with the artist in general, whether it's possessing their things and things like that. I saw this one TikTok the other day from this kid who was talking about being in the same hotel in Super M, and she was like freaking out because she was like, oh, what if I walk in and I see Lucas naked in the shower or some shit? And it's like, bro, what on earth makes you think that you can do this? I take a special amount of I have a special amount of discontent for people from international audiences, like white people who, or honestly, people from any background that aren't from Korea, that look at these idols almost in this fetishizing way, as if to say like, bro, like that's my boy, and I can like take pictures and he's my idol, and what if I look at him shirtless, and what if I intrude his privacy because I just want to see him, da da da, and I want to be as close to him as possible. And I don't think that sentiment is as popular internationally, but there are certainly industries that thrive off of this kind of access. And I think most people who love K-pop don't want that and don't like that. But for many years, the K-pop industry did build a lot of credit, like in terms of making money and popularization because of that. And that sucks. That just sucks. So, we need a lot of people to divest, I guess, but I don't really know how that's gonna work, and I'm not here to spill the revolution to you, because I don't have answers. I feel helpless in the battle against Isuman's crimes. It's just, let's be clear though, let's just be clear about what's going on and when. If you're interested in talking about K-pop and what's wrong with it, let's be clear about who did what. And a lot of times it was Lee Soo-man doing things that he should not have done. And it's labels like Woollim Entertainment and many things that YG and JYP have done. And I understand that that's not very politically correct for me to do, and I understand that a lot of people are great that work at these companies, even at the executive level, that are genuinely pushing to do great things. But there are just a lot of cases over the past 3 decades of mismanagement that makes you really uncomfortable. And this is an instance of that. Regardless of what the h.o.t member who was talking about it thinks, I just don't see any reason that that's an appropriate or healthy behavior to collect blood and hair. I mean, it's the kind of stuff that you make up for like a book about abuse of celebrities. You know what I mean? That's what's freaky about it. That's what's really freaky about it, is that, damn, that's real. So my whole point is just like, yeah, let's try to be more discerning about how we talk about these issues and how we root them out. And that's the whole abstract, stupid rant that I have about that. But let me know what you guys think.